I want to show a lot of you bass players out there something you've never seen before because you've never been able to save enough money to buy one of these. This is the brand new Hartke LX8500 bass amp. It's Class D, but comes with a Class A tube preamp section and only weighs in at 8.5 pounds, yet it's got 800 watts of power. What's it sound like? Hit it. Oh yeah, this one's gonna be really cool. All right, I gotta say, I'm a little bit enthusiastic to do this video, mainly because this rig has been sitting in my control room taking up space for the last couple months. Like, I gotta get to this, So what I got here is the LX8500 power amp, and I've also got the high drive 4x10 cabinet. And now I've always been interested in checking out the Hartke stuff because they've got those aluminum cones, and I'm just curious to see how they hold up and all that kind of stuff. And in today's configuration, we've got the cabinet mic'd up with a United Audio FET47 and a Solomon low frequency mic. And we're using Sound Radix's auto align in post to keep those two mics perfectly phase aligned, even though one's at a much longer distance than the other from the front of the cabinet. Reason being is that with the 47, I'm not only trying to capture the 10-inch driver, I'm trying to capture part of the tweeter as well to get that top and spank. Now, I got to give credit here to Hartke. They were really thinking when they thought this amp up, because this is definitely designed for a live gigging and dark stages. That's really cool. Now, just going over the amp real quick here. So controls, we've got drive, mute, a compressor, a gain stage, a bright switch, bass, shape, frequency, treble for your EQ, and then a master volume knob. There's quite a bit of hiss coming out of this thing, and that's mainly due to the bright switch. Like, we turn the bright switch off, it's pretty damn quiet. A bit of pickup noise being picked up, but not too bad. Yeah, that's absolutely fine, but I gotta say, I like it with the bright switch in. It just seems to give that much more snap. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And this is a really cool thing. This amp has tons of spank if you want it, but I love the fact that there's a built-in compressor. Let's check out what this does once we start dialing things in a little bit. Let's do a little bit of slap bass here just to check it out, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So no compression here, and then we'll drop it in, and I'll show you exactly what's going on. So yeah, it's pretty spanky, and I like that sound, but if we do want to get that under control, we can just dial in a bit of compression here. Let's take the compressor down to about halfway and check that out. Now, the great thing is, you can see exactly how much compression is going on here. When you hit it, it just kicks right in. And now let's dial that in all the way. And this is gonna probably turn things down a little bit too. Like, there's gonna be a bit of a lower level, but it's definitely gonna keep all those slaps and pops, like, just clamp right down on them and give you a very even sound. Yeah, there we go. The compressor really does the trick. I like it somewhere around the halfway mark just to get things a little bit under control, but I do like that spankiness as well. Yeah, that's great. And again, if you can really dig in, and it's really going to bite in, so a little bit of compression kind of goes a long way. Yeah, you don't have to overdo it at all. And like I said, that brightness switch is pretty nasty in terms of hiss, but it just adds so much more life to the bass sound. I mean, we can bring up the treble here. And that's not adding all that much hiss, even with it cranked up all the way. We crank up that bright button though, and it's gonna get really nasty really fast, especially when we start cranking the treble up. But it's really got a wonderful snarl and snap to it, and I really like the tone coming off this cabinet combined with this amp. This tone is just absolutely fantastic. And of course, we've got a few more options here as well. And one thing I really like is the fact that it's got the built-in tube drive here. So if we take this down all the way, we're gonna get a very clean sound. Yeah, that's absolutely phenomenal. Just if you want that beautiful, bright, clean bass tone, yeah, this is going to deliver the goods. And of course, if we crank up the drive, this gets real nasty, real fast. And it's going to definitely add some noise into the signal as well. Damn, that is just all kinds of nasty, and I really love that sound. Wow, that is really cool. So that's what the gain cranked up all the way. If we take that and crank the compression up, this is probably going to get real noisy real quick, but should do the trick, that's for sure. Wow, that is really freaking cool. Of course, on the back panel, there's a couple of inserts for a pair of foot switches. You can control the mute, you can punch the bright switch in and out, and you can also control the mid-range frequency as well. Now, this kind of confused me a little bit at first. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? We got shape and we got frequency. Basically, shape is going to be the mid-range boost or cut, and the frequency is going to obviously be the center frequency of your EQ there. So what we're going to do is I'll just crank the shape up all the way. You can hear me sweep through the different frequencies here. We'll start here and just come down. We'll do the same thing with a cut there. We'll take that out, mid-range scoop. Yeah, that kind of works right there. I mean, the one thing I'm noticing about this amp more than anything is just kind of leave things right around, you know, the middle section, maybe a little bit of deviation. But start with everything at noon, you're probably going to get a pretty decent tone right out of the get-go. And I think that's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, like, they are making this for bass players and they want things to be easy to understand. They know their crowd. They know who they're making this product for. So yeah, best to not make it difficult. Now, one thing I really love about this amp is it's got a built-in handle. You can just take your amp and go. And with the fact that this amp weighs only 8.5 pounds, that's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, like, this is definitely a gigging amp if there ever was one. The tone's great. The sound's great. It's loud as hell. And the fact it doesn't weigh very much is a giant bonus too. Now, this amp isn't just for the stage. It's also for the studio. And to demonstrate that, I've got Eric Arco doing a full mix for us. Now, I haven't said too much about the high drive cab other than, hey, it's a 4x10, it's got the aluminum cones, it's got all kinds of bite. And I like the fact that the back panel has a switch for the tweeter. It's either low, high, or off. It's not, you got to dial it and whatnot. It's just, again, it's super simple, just set and forget and go. It's really easy to mic up. I think that FET47 from United Audio is really doing the trick, and the Thomann Low Freak works amazing with it as well. Just brings up that whole bottom octave a little bit. It's kind of like a sub kick on a drum, but also works on bass cabinets real well. Let me just check my notes here. The cabinet weighs 63 pounds, so it's a little bit heavier than the amp, obviously, but it's a pretty decent portable rig in terms of weight. And the fact that it's a 4x10 is great because it's not a massive size, so all you bass players can definitely fit it into the backseat of your mom's car for when she drives you to the gig. Shouldn't be any problem at all. It's pretty unobtrusive. Okay, one caveat about this amp is if you're going to keep it on mute for any amount of time and you're doing something where you can't have a lot of background noise, the fan is going to kick on and cool the power section down. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. The amp's doing what it's supposed to be doing, but if you've got a critical listening environment and you can't have any kind of loud fan noise, you might want to put this into a dedicated amp room or that kind of thing. On stage, nobody's going to notice or give a shit, so that's no problem there. But here in a control room, it might be a bit of an issue, especially when you're trying to do a YouTube video and you've got fan noise bleeding into the mic. Now, I've had the amp muted out for quite a while, but with the volume up, so obviously it was generating heat. It needs to cool down, no problem. As you're playing, I'll notice the fan will kick on, and that's a common trait among many Class D amps, not just the Hartke. I've noticed that on my dark glass stuff as well, is that there's a fan that'll kick on just to keep the thing from overheating. I mean, like, that's a lot of power you're putting into a very small package. Oh yeah, did I mention it's only 8.5 pounds? That's absolutely phenomenal to get that kind of power in that small of a package. I think that's absolutely brilliant. The trade-off being is, yeah, you do have to run a cooling system with it. This is a cool rig that won't break the bank. It's definitely not the most expensive bass amp on the market. I think it's priced to compete, and I really like the tone it delivers. I love the cabinet. This thing has loads of power, and I think this would be amazing as a gigging rig. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out in the studio as well. It's really easy to mic and get a great tone with it. Hartke's got a serious option going on here, so if you're in the market for a new bass rig, I definitely want to take a look at it. I've got links to Sweetwater and Thomann in the description below. Check it out. See you guys next time. Hey everybody, how's it going? One more time, I really suck today. God damn. My fingers are rest here. Jesus. I suck today. I don't know what's going on. Oh, I'm holding a bass guitar. That's what the problem is. My IQ is just plummeting.